Okay, so if I don't have coconut oil, because I realized I don't, what other oil would be good to use?
Let's use avocado oil
Amazing.
or extra virgin olive oil.
I love
Fabulous.
avocado oil. I'm so excited to cook with you, but I feel like we should start with you telling us a little bit about who you are. We met through another dietitian
We
who was
did.
like, "You need to know who Sarah is," but I want everyone to know who you are.
Love it. So I'm Sarah Becker. I'm a registered dietitian and I see clients virtually and in person through a practice called Indigo Wellness Group. And we have offices in Stamford and Westport, and I work out of our Westport office. I focus primarily on women's health with a niche in gut health. I believe that the gut microbiome is the key to feeling well and really the start of everything. People come to me, I'm like, oh, let's look at your gut. I also do a lot with fertility. As a new mom, it was not easy to get here. And I love helping other soon to be mamas really optimize their health and nutrition to feel their best. Born and
Nice.
raised in Connecticut. That's where I currently live. And what else do you want to know about me?
Tell us about your daughter.
So yes, my daughter, her name is Waverly. She just turned 1 on December 2nd, and it has been the most beautiful, challenging gift. Like this season right now, she's going through a regression, and it's hard. It's really
It is.
hard. So I'm so excited to talk more about just being a mom means for us and how to nourish our body in this really crazy time. Um,
One
because
thing I want to ask you, just because it's
yeah.
like you talked about the microbiome. We're always talking about the microbiome, how important it is, how it's foundational for our mental, physical, emotional well being. I'm really curious just because I just got off the phone with someone talking about fertility, the connection between our gut
Mm.
microbiome and our vaginal microbiome, and if that's something you're talking to women about in regard to their fertility.
Yeah. So, love this question. There are direct links between gut health and fertility. We can measure how we're using and losing estrogen. So we want to make hormones and then we want to lose them. And we lose them. One of the processes is we poop them out. So if we're constipated or swinging the other end of the spectrum with loose bowel movements, like something's wrong. And being able to measure how our body is using and either getting rid of or even reprocessing those hormones, estrogen, in the body can be measured with stool testing. And the stool test can also pick up overgrowth that cross over into the vaginal canal too. So I see a lot of clients who have recurring UTIs. There is vaginal microbiome testing. It's not something I do yet or am as familiar with, but we can measure those same organisms in the gut. And when we clear up those organisms that are linked to recurrent UTIs, they don't have UTIs anymore.
Jeez,
It's
that's so
fascinating.
interesting.
Yes, and obviously our vaginal health is really important to the health of the baby as well. And there are studies that show, I believe it's the last 4 weeks of pregnancy, by taking certain strains of probiotics, increases the baby's microbiome once they're born through the vaginal canal.
Ooh, I
Yes.
need to know more about that.
Yeah, I can share the studies with you too.
Yeah.
And obviously, if C-section is the way to go, again, there's no right or wrong for our beautiful babies to come into the world, but there's like, you can see vaginally, like there's vaginal swabs that you can do, and then just probiotic use for yourself and baby afterwards too. Again, there's not medical advice, but like you can do testing on your baby too. I actually did 2 rounds of gut testing on Waverly because she was dealing with some eczema, and her gut test, we did it twice to see the change, and it was drastic how well her gut improved just from really dietary and really customized probiotic strains for
What
her.
probiotics did you give her?
So for her, I started with Avivo.
Love Avivo. I did Avivo
Yeah.
for my son too.
So we did that for a couple months, and then we switched to something more broad spectrum for her, and the improvements have been really great.
Huge. And how's her eczema?
A lot better. She actually manifests around her eyes. Fortunately,
I've
it
seen
doesn't
that.
bother. It doesn't bother her, which is great, but I'm trying to get to the root cause rather than everyone keeps saying, oh, she'll grow out of it. But that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
That answer I don't like.
I'm on a mission. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us what we're making today. I know you also have a book, a digital book about.
Yes. So I created a postpartum guide that I started while I was pregnant and then completed after Waverly was born. I really found a void in a one-stop shop to go for all of these questions that we all have as mommies and soon-to-be moms. And so I created my own. It's over 60 pages, which includes about 20 easy to make recipes as well. I should add this one to that.
I'm like, yeah, I was like, is this recipe in there? Well, everyone, I asked Sarah to riff. So when we do this Eat Like a Mamala series, what we're always trying to do is let's pick out some of the great ingredients that we utilize in our support snacks, and then let's turn them into a meal, and let's talk to a dietitian or a nutritionist about how best to do that. And Sarah so wonderfully accepted doing that, and she came up with this recipe for us. We're going to make it today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this? I prepped some things already to make this like a little smoother, but
Great.
Tell us what we're making.
So we're making, I love a bowl. I always eat my meals out of a bowl. So we are making a honey Dijon salmon with sweet potatoes and bringing it all together with the same marinade that's going on the salmon we're using as our dressing for a spinach salad with pomegranates and pumpkin seeds. So the sweet potatoes, the pumpkin seeds, and the pomegranates, as well as the spinach, are all ingredients in the Mamala pouches, which I'm obsessed with. Are they back in stock yet?
Almost. January 6th and 7th, we go back on the production line.
Okay.
But by the time this runs, we'll be back in stock.
Great. I can't wait to purchase for myself. And I have so many friends who recently had kids, and I'm gifting everyone.
It's literally the ultimate gift, especially when you're having a second kid and you've like already been gifted all the onesies and stuff. And it's like, what else am I getting? Like, how many blankets can you have? It's insane how many blankets. But thanks for the blankets, everybody. But it's like, okay, let's
you have a good heart. We need something practical for us.
My pumpkin seeds. Let me grab my pumpkin seeds. I love the pumpkin seed protein that we use in our support snacks, but like I toast pumpkin seeds and like bring them to all my kids' like sporting events and like whatever.
Great source of zinc.
Snack.
Yeah. We love a good crunch. Great source of zinc. Pumpkin seeds and just more seeds in general. It's a great source of fiber too, nuts and seeds. We don't get enough. So yeah, you're snacking on them, add them to salads. They're great. But if you haven't turned on your oven yet, we're going to do that.
It's preheated.
Great, 375. I'm all about shortcuts and tips and tricks to make cooking easier and making the very little time that we as moms have, making everything more efficient. So did you get like they're called arrows?
I looked that up. I was like, are these the pomegranate seeds? And now I know a new word.
Yeah. So inside of a pomegranate are the pomegranate seeds, and they're called arrows. Again, shortcut. Just buy the pre-arrowed, or I don't know the term.
They were $3.
Yeah, amazing. So do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Shortcut. Take it. Okay, so I already pre-chopped my sweet potato.
Me too. One large
sweet potato. Or the more the merrier. Again, the oven's on, so if you have veggies to roast, just roast them. So I had 3 sweet potatoes sitting here, so I have 3. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon of coconut oil. If you don't have coconut oil, use any oil you have. Avocado is great for like higher heat. And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm not the best at measurement. I obviously did for this recipe, but I'm just going to give a healthy shake.
Eyeballing. Oh.
And then as well as some salt. And then we just want to give that a nice even coat. And the good thing about this recipe too is I'm using one pan for the salmon. as well. So salmon and sweet potatoes will go on the same baking sheet, which I love. So, you know, sweet potatoes are a great source of vitamin A, a great complex carbohydrate. The cinnamon is going to help with blood sugar balance. The coconut oil is going to add some healthy fats there. And now that it's the winter months, I love the root vegetables, just to add some coziness to our plates. And especially as a mom, this is going to be really good, give us good sustained energy, and help us feel fuller for longer as well. If you're skimping on the carbohydrates, you're most likely hungrier by the end of the day and probably gravitating towards like the sweets. But when clients come to my office and they're like, post dinner, man, I have a hankering for sweets. I'm like, well, let's evaluate, what does your day look like and how are you nourishing yourself? And most often they're under eating and then unintentionally avoiding carbohydrates altogether. So these are a great source of the good ones we love. All right, so
we use sweet potatoes across all three and all three of our Mamala Support Snack.
Yeah.
And like the thing about sweet potatoes that I love so much is that like I can't believe something this tasty grows out of the earth. Like, yes, for berries and all of that, but like this, it is so delicious. It is better than any candy. It's better than a Swedish Fish. It's better. I think it's better than chocolate. Like a sweet potato and a date? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
From
sweet
the
potato,
earth?
like little honey and like walnuts.
So good.
That's actually one of my
mixed it.
So we'll put these on our lined baking sheet. My salmon's here already.
I'm unhinged and I don't have parchment paper.
So don't use it.
So I'm doing it. I'm just like raw dogging it straight on the pan. And
that's fine.
Avocado oil.
I love it. You don't need it, but yes, if you don't have it, then put avocado oil down first on your parchment. So these are going, like I said, right on the same pan.
They're all going together. Okay, yep. Fabulous.
This is our salmon, so we'll make the salmon marinade.
Your salmon's marinated already.
No, it's not.
Wait, I marinated.
But you marinated it. Oh, great.
Are I supposed to?
You don't have to.
Okay.
But I'm glad you did. So I'll make the marinade right now. So again, the marinade we're also going to use as the salad dressing. Yeah. So
I saved half.
Oh, you did. Fabulous. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'll make this for you guys, and I will measure this. A fun trick is for things that are sticky, like the Dijon and the honey. You always want to start with the oil first because the oil is going to act like a little lubricant on this thing and make the honey slide right off when it's time to use it.
That's such a hot tip.
I know.
Because I was like scooping it out with my clean finger, but.
Right, so I just did 2 tablespoons of oil, and then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of honey. So watch. So we just did the oil, so the honey shoop, comes right up.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, hold on.
Now I'm going to do that always moving forward.
Yeah, it comes right out. Okay. And then 2 of the Dijon. Woo!
So while we're doing this, can you talk a little bit about how your postpartum went?
Oh, sure.
Did you feel like so well prepared because you're a dietitian, or were you like,
So, okay. I want to be as very real and honest. Postpartum wrecked me. Fortunately, I did not feel any postpartum depressive symptoms, but Waverly was the most atrocious sleeper in the world, and it wrecked me. She only really started figuring out how to sleep when she was about 7 months old, so there was a lot of sleepless nights, and I was drained. I was mentally, physically, and emotionally drained. I fortunately have a very supportive family and friend group, and I can't stress enough about building your community ahead of time Neither of us have immediate family close. My parents are in California, and his are in either Florida or Colorado. Aside, I have always known that being a mom was what I was like meant to be, part of who I am. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it took us a long time to get here. I had several pregnancy losses. And another reason why I'm so passionate about being able to optimize women's health for the conception period and, you know, throughout your pregnancy. And women just deserve to be heard. They deserve to have answers. For me, we were not 100% sure the why. I think my early miscarriages were probably thyroid related. But I had to advocate for myself. I went to several doctors who said, oh, your thyroid's fine, when it was over the threshold of what the academy suggests. And so I just really had to be my own advocate and find someone until they said, oh, you're right. Like, let's look further.
What did that look like for you, going to find an endocrinologist that really?
Yeah, so working with an endo, I did go on Synthroid. There's several. I was actually on NP thyroid first, which is a desiccated version, so from a pig, rather than Synthroid or levothyroxine is a synthetic version. And
I didn't know that was even an option.
Yeah. So, and again, depending who you speak to, they'll be like, oh, NP thyroid, like that's the reason you X, Y, and Z, or like that doesn't do anything for your thyroid. But from a more functional, holistic side, that's what I felt comfortable with. I actually did, for my third pregnancy, I did switch to Synthroid. Again, is that the why? Probably not. But we optimized my thyroid, and then I was able to hold a pregnancy. That's just like one possibility of the why. But after the second miscarriage, and people, like your doctors still say, oh, like that's normal, it's probably genetic abnormality. And yes, it may be, but I didn't want to take that as the final answer. And so again, just doing more research. And again, I'm a dietitian too. So like, and from a more perfectionist mindset, which I think a lot of moms can relate to, it's like you don't want to take no as an answer, and you're going to do everything in your power until your baby's here.
Why do you think that thyroid, whether it's Hashimoto or Graves, hyper or hypo, why do you think that it is so widespread amongst women? Because it's like if I talk to, like, if I'm in a room, 50% of women are telling me that they've had thyroid issues. It's like everywhere I go, women have thyroid issues. My mom, my aunt, so many friends.
So I don't want to say, again, I don't want to take this as I know everything. The thyroid is a very complex organ, tiny but mighty. It's a little butterfly that lives right here. Tiny but mighty because it literally, it's the thermostat for your body. The thyroid is connected to all of your organs and how they interact in your body. For women, I think it's so widespread. A few reasons. Diet culture has really played into this under eating mentality. I'm hoping that we're shying away from that. But like, thinner is not better. We want to be strong. We want to be strong women. So as we age and we go into pregnancy and then perimenopause and menopause, that our bone health and our muscle mass is not compromised because of how we treated our bodies in our 20s and 30s. I had body image issues when I was in my 20s too. So I think disordered eating and eating disorder, that goes back to the under eating piece, also really plays into the thyroid issue. Over exercising, this overdoing, undernourishing for women, I think is
we get into this like crazy cycle also in postpartum where it's like women really want to lose the weight and then they're under eating and your body like begins shutting down, and it's like there are ways to, and that was like a big part of the kind of the genesis of Mamala, because it was like, oh my God, I know I'm doing myself a disservice. I'm not eating the way I should be eating. I at least need to get something in during the day if I'm not getting 3 great meals in a day. but there's nothing really out there that's satisfying kind of the full spectrum symptom set, that it's just so hard. And you're operating on a level of like high anxiety. Like, even if you don't like really feel it totally, it's like it's generating in you. And for so many of us, that leads us to not feeling those hunger cues.
Yes to all. Especially in the beginning of the postpartum period, fueling yourself should be the only thing that, aside from obviously taking care of your baby, but fueling yourself should be the next thing that is taking priority. And it is so hard to nourish yourself. And something I talk about in my guide is, outside of creating that village, is set yourself up for success. So before baby even arrives, batch cook a handful of stuff to freeze. I mean, like soups, even snacks. Like, I love making healthy loaded like oatmeal bars or cookies, like a protein ball, frittatas, egg muffins. I made, I think, like 4 different types of soup. And then have someone set up a meal train for you. I think that was one of the best things that could have happened for us, because dinner arrived at the door at a certain time every night, and so we didn't pause and just say, so I mixed up my dressing, and I put a hefty spoonful on each of my salmon fillets.
Gorgeous.
And a good rule of thumb for fish is about a half a pound per person. I also love relying on frozen fish. So these are 2 frozen fillets that I had in the freezer that I pulled out last night to just make sure they were defrosted. So then this can actually go in the oven for, we're gonna do 12 minutes to start for the salmon on 375. And I love that you marinated the salmon ahead of time, which is totally fine, but optional. Let me set
I did it for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Not much of a marinating time, but it's something.
So I'm gonna set a timer for about 12 minutes, because that's the amount of time for the salmon, and then we'll take the salmon off the tray and let the sweet potatoes continue to cook. So in the meantime, we can also assemble our salad. I'm using the same bowl that I used for the sweet potatoes, because again, less dishes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I'm using spinach here, obviously, because that's what's highlighted in the Mamala, but you can use whatever greens you have on hand. Arugula would be great too.
I love arugula. But I do also have spinach.
Great. You can do a mix.
Also easier.
Always. I do like a big old handful per person. So we'll do 2. Two big handfuls of this. I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup of my pumpkin seeds. And again, either 1 pomegranate or an entire container. It's about, this one's 5 ounces. So maybe like 3/4 of the container.
It's looking very pretty.
I know, love a good color.
Giving fall.
And then again, we are using that same dressing, which I'll probably wait to dress it. But it's the same dressing that we used for the salmon marinade for the salad dressing. So I'm gonna do a little taste test.
And it smells so good.
Oh, that's good. Mine needs a smidge more salt.
Ooh. The dressing packs a little punch.
In what way?
And just like a lot of flavor. It's good.
Okay.
The lemon really like zing.
Oh. Yeah, so I called for half a lemon. So start there. And if you do need a little more acid, then you can add more. Just based on your preference. So again, that is done. We're ready to go.
So yummy. So you arrive at postpartum, you have this village around you. You have a stocked freezer.
Yep.
Also, good tidbit, like invite your friends over to help you like batch cook.
Yes.
That's like a nice thing to do.
People want to help. And as you said, how many blankets can you have? You need what? 2?
Sure.
And then people, so they want to help. So oftentimes they want to give you something. And so I always tell my clients and myself, the more direct and upfront you can be with someone, the better. And in the postpartum period, the only feelings that matter are your own. I'll say that again. The only feelings that matter are truly your own. So say, I understand you really want to help, like baby has plenty, but I really need support right now. What that looks like for my family is, can you please drop off dinner? Can you make an extra serving or an extra batch of chili for me and drop it off? People I find were always like, can I see the baby? Can I see the baby? And I'm like, yes, or no, actually, that's not what I need right now.
Good for you, because so many
It
of us
wasn't
are
easy.
people pleasers.
It
Yeah.
wasn't easy.
But so many of us women grow up as being people pleasers. And I so admire women that aren't. But I definitely grew up as a people pleaser and still am to this day. I like when people say recovering people pleaser. And motherhood, it is a requirement in motherhood to find your voice. Like, it is to advocate for your kids' health, to your point, to advocate for your own health. And then to just be like upfront with what your needs are. And like that is a big part of the internal challenge that like you break through in matrescence. Like, who am I gonna be now that like my job is to raise another human and help them like get to their fullest potential, if you will. And like, you want that for your kid. So in turn, you have to be that for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that like mama bear energy. I remember the first time it found its voice, I was like, whoa, okay. I was like, she is here. But it's true. You have to like, there's is it matrescence?
Matrescence, yeah.
Matrescence. Yeah, that transformation is real and powerful. And I would say even though I'm 12 months postpartum, I am still trying to figure out like who am I as a mom? I don't know if I ever figure it out.
No,
but
they say that postpartum is an up to 10-year nutrient critical life stage. It can be. You know, when I've heard so many people speak about matrescence, and what they say is it's an even more intense period than puberty in terms of like how your synapses are rewiring, and you're really becoming a new version of yourself during that time. And I don't think it ever really ends, because you're growing through your children's life, and what is required of you is different at different points in their life.
Yeah, it can change every day. No, truly. Yeah,
so you get home, you're acute, immediate postpartum. I like to refer to the 4th trimester as like acute postpartum, because like beyond that, you're still in postpartum, but it's long.
So the first 40 days, from again, Chinese medicine standpoint, is really valued and appreciated in every other culture except ours, where the woman is truly doesn't leave the home for those 40 days. It's very slow living, and everyone else cares for her. Whereas in our society, we go back to work shortly after. Everyone has this like bounce back mentality of their bodies. And so I tried my best to lean into that slowness. Again, it was hard. Fortunately,
how'd that go?
No, it was hard, but I think having a baby in the winter months too almost helped, because we just wanted to like be in our own little bubble anyways, and the weather allowed us to do that. But, and you just mentioned this like nutrient critical period. So yes, that 40 days is important, but like even beyond that, they say, I think the expression is how you nourish your body for the first 40 days is how like your body will like show up for the next 40 years or something. Don't quote me on that. It's in my guidebook. But that when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make my body the most important thing right now. Not only for myself, but for my baby. I need to make sure I can nourish her and provide her what she needs. I did breastfeed Waverly. but it wasn't easy. Oh my God, I almost gave up so many
Tell us
times.
about it, because I feel like so many women,
It almost,
breastfeeding doesn't come naturally to most of us. And like there is so many hard struggles of breastfeeding that if you really want to do it, you have to move through. And it's not for everybody, and not everybody should do it. But if you want to, you like, most of us understand you have to move through really hard periods for it to
yeah.
feel easy.
I think it got
Never
easy
really
like
ever feels easy.
maybe around like 7-8 months. My biggest regret is not meeting with an IBCLC before Waverly arrived. I had a doula at my birth experience, and so with that came classes, and so she gave me like a breastfeeding 101. At the time, I thought that was enough. It wasn't. I should have met with a lactation consultant before she was born, because in the hospital, you know, the lactation consultant comes around, but she like peeks at the baby feeding at your breast, and you're like, oh, she's great, you're good. Reality, I didn't know what I had to be looking for. And so Waverly, you know, she lost a little bit of weight, but within that 10%. But then she was a slow gainer, basically until she was like 4 or 5 months old. And the pediatrician immediately said, think of formula rather than you should go see a lactation consultant. But with my background and my knowledge, I said, no, I'm going to start with a lactation consultant. Let me see if they can help. And Waverly had some latch issues. She had some structural oral issues that we worked on with a speech language pathologist and an OT to help strengthen those muscles in her mouth. But basically, because she wasn't latching properly and removing milk properly, my supply plummeted. So she wasn't getting the milk that she needed. So I was triple feeding around the clock.
Oh my gosh.
Some weeks I had so much anxiety because I couldn't leave the house because I was nursing and then pumping and then bottle feeding. But I felt so strongly about sticking with it, and I'm very glad I did. But it was I would say the first 4 months was really, really hard. And now
then beyond it, she had the OT.
Yep.
You were working with your lactation consultant, and by like the fourth month, you'd like hit your stride, and she starts
gaining. And then honestly, once we started solids, the girl loves food. And so she just started housing food, and then she shot right up on her curve. And she's still on her curve, and things are hunky-dory.
It's such good advice. And I feel like I talk about it with people a lot. And actually, I went and heard Dr. Becky speak the other week, and she said something so great. She was like, parenting is the only like occupation, this isn't a direct quote, that people expect you to just be good at intuitively. There's like, every other thing requires experience, coaching, leadership work, whatever it is, except for parenting. The only experience we go into it with is how we were parented. And like, it hit home so much, because then you think of like how your parents were, and you're like, oh, well, I'd do a lot of things differently. No shade. But like with breastfeeding, it's such a big thing. Like, you're expected to just be like this earth mama and like baby latches, and you're just doing your thing. And for most of us, it doesn't go like that. And starting with a lactation consultant prior to giving birth, my friend Abby worked with me before I had my second. My first, it was a struggle for every single ounce. I worked with a few different lactation consultants. Mm-hmm. Before my second, I reached out to my friend Abby, childhood friend, an unbelievable lactation consultant, and she coached me before he arrived. Yeah. And I was set up in such a better way. She walked me through the crawl. She walked me through like getting early colostrum out. I had already had a baby, and I didn't even know any of this stuff that I was able to know for my second, and it changed the entire experience.
I love that, and I love that you got the support ahead of time, knowing how hard it was the first. And what I was in a mom's group through my lactation consultant, and there was second and third time moms there, because it doesn't matter how many babies you have, every baby's going to have latch differently, and you're going to have a different breastfeeding experience with that child. So yes, God willing, I have another baby, I will be going to lactation consultant. Okay, my timer went off. I think yours is too. So
It's smelling good.
yeah. Okay, so 12 minutes is kind of like my magic number for fish. Here's my salmon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove the salmon. You can see it. Oh, yeah, that fillet is definitely done.
They're steaming.
Salmon. Another good way to know that fish is done, that it should just come off the skin. It should just like flake off.
Oh, okay.
And this is not beautiful right now, but.
We didn't say it was going to be pretty. Just said it was going to taste good.
And so then I'm going to give my sweet potatoes a little flip, a little mix around, and I'm going to put them back in the oven for probably like 10 minutes. It depends how like, I would say like 10 minutes.
How often are you cooking every week? Are you cooking every night?
I really try not to. Okay, 10 minutes. I love to cook, don't get me wrong, but in this season of life, I'm tired. And when Waverly goes down for bed, like the last thing I want to do is like make this elaborate meal. I would say I cook a meal probably 3 times a week, and I always cook for leftovers. So like with this dish, I probably would have made 4 fillets instead of 2, so that we can have leftovers and for lunch, or I can give it to Waverly. I really try not to like cook separate for our household. Like
I'm all on board with that. My kids eat whatever we're eating.
yeah, 1 meal for all. And then I love to rely on freezer food. So I always have meatballs in the freezer, frozen vegetables, pre-made rice and grains. So I would say
you make quinoa and then you freeze it?
No, I buy pre-made packaged.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Tip on that is all of the grains come in plastic. So always put the grains in a bowl and then put it in the microwave. So you're not microwaving the plastic.
Yeah, we're like super conscientious of plastic, which is why, our support snacks are in plastic pouches, but it took me 2 years to find a co-manufacturer that would cold fill them. So our products never touch heated plastic. So we do aseptic fill, and it is a very unique technology that not many people use. But because I would never put anything that touched hot plastic into my own body, so I would obviously never put it into anybody else's.
I absolutely love that you guys do that.
But it keeps the product tasting so much fresher also, because all the other pouch companies essentially heat their product inside the pouches, and that's how they get shelf stability.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
but there's some great brands like Sarah Becker, like Sophie's Organics, which another mom, Danielle, is launched out of LA. It's a baby brand for baby foods, and they're all using this technology, which I really think is like the future of how everyone should be making their pouches.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so rice, we're taking it out of the plastic and we're warming it in a bowl.
So I would say at least multiple times a week, whether it's for me or Waverly. I love Force of Nature. Are you familiar with that brand? They make ground meat products. So they have
I have their bison blend.
But the ancestral one?
Yeah,
ancestral
they do that bison. Yeah.
Yeah, so with the liver in it. So they recently came out with pre-cooked meatballs. with
Oh.
with ancestral.
Their section?
Yep.
Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
check them out.
I know Whole Foods carries it. I'm sure it's at other grocers too. But I love relying on those. I'll steam some broccoli with some butter and salt and then heat up some rice. And then if I need to, easy. And then if I want to add to it, I'm all about like zhuzhing. I love that word. Zhuzhing our meals to make it more nutrient dense. So that's like the bare minimum. But if I want to add to it, I'll add like a scoop of sauerkraut. Say I have an avocado, throw half an avocado on there. And then maybe garnish with microgreens. I love microgreens.
Me too.
So yeah, you can always elevate and zhuzh and add to what you're doing, but at the basics and how you're feeling, and if you're tired, like, we'll keep it at that.
I'm simultaneously hungry for meatballs now.
They're really good. You should try them.
I'm going to. I'm always making my own meatballs, and it'd be nice to have a pre-made meatball happening.
Yes, I love to make them too. Like that is I would say the gold standard would be to make them, but also like you don't get a medal for making something from scratch.
Yeah.
And like I always tell clients that too. Like you're not getting a medal for pre-chopping a butternut squash. Like buy it chopped. Like take that shortcut. Shortcuts doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you're working smarter for you and your family and you're saving time. Totally. We all need more.
And it's also like our dietitian that we developed the product with, she always likes to say like, good choices beget good choices. So like if you are making it easier and more convenient for yourself, you're going to continue to make those good choices. For instance, like when you're reaching for a Mamala, you're going to have that as your snack in the morning. You're more likely to make a conscientious, smart, healthy decision later in the day. To your point about like having the sweet tooth at the end of the night, like if you're reaching for sweet potato, if you're reaching for cruciferous vegetables, if you're reaching for those things, you're making it a point during the day, the end of the day is going to look a lot different for you because you're already started out making those good choices.
Yeah. And you just said reaching for a Mamala in the morning. Starting your day with breakfast is one of the best things you can do for yourself to set your day up for success.
What's your like ultimate breakfast for conception, postpartum? Like what is on the plate?
So, preconception, you really want to focus on anti-inflammatory food and blood sugar balance. And honestly, those two principles remain the same during pregnancy and even postpartum because having that stable blood sugar is really going to set everything up for success across the board. When insulin resistance and chronic inflammation are two of the main reasons that that people experience with infertility or can see. Wow. And then you go through your pregnancy and you want to keep those two things as low as possible. And then postpartum too, you want to have the less inflammation and you want to have stable blood sugar. So it really, I think for like any life stage you're in, those two principles hold true. So for me, I had the time to meal prep two things on Sunday for breakfast. Breakfast is hard because I'm taking care of Waverly, making sure she has food, getting ready for the day. So I find that if I don't have something ready to go, I won't have a nourishing enough meal for me to get me through the day. So I recently made like a oatmeal, an apple like pie oatmeal bake.
Yum. So
apples, walnuts, eggs, oats, and you like mix everything in like a brownie sheet, throw it in the oven. You can top it with yogurt, cottage cheese, coconut yogurt, and then I made a broccoli and cheddar frittata.
Yum.
So
is this apple oatmeal bake in your book?
Is it? No, but I think it might be. I think there's something very similar. And again, they both went in the oven at the same time. Everything was made in the pan that they're cooked in, so like minimal cleanup. And then that set me up for this week because I opened the fridge and it's ready to go. So then I can eat at the same time that Waverly's eating too, which I feel like is really important to be able to share meals with your kids. And then that keeps me nourished and satisfied until probably lunch-ish. Some days I need a snack because I'm hungry, more hungry. Other days I don't. But yeah, breakfast is going to set the tone of the day. And I do often, I'll have that post-dinner craving. And I'll say, well, did I have a filling breakfast? I'm like, oh no, I had a bar this morning because I was running out the door. Like that's
Yeah.
so rather than, and then so like I want the sweet, so I'll have it. But some days I'm like, I know that I'm having this craving because how I fueled earlier in the day.
I really like when I get that craving, the thing I've been grabbing are the Mamamellos because it like gets my sweet tooth, but it like doesn't spike my blood sugar. I'm like, okay, I'm getting the vanilla and the date, and I'm like, I'm scratching that itch, but like it's also giving me calm energy because, or I'm having a honey mama. Have you ever had honey mamas?
Don't get me started.
I can't handle, they're so good.
So actually, I think like my perfect dessert is honey mamas with a scoop of chocolate coconut cult.
Ooh. Honestly, great for your poopies.
Great for the
Great
gut,
for your poopies.
great for bowel movements. Yes, I love talking about poop over here at
My dietitian also told us recently in an article we did for Mama Land, which this will live on, about like how kiwis are really good for your poops.
2 kiwis a day.
Yeah, that's what she said. So I've been stocking up on kiwi. I mean, I've always had like pretty regular poops, but like I've been really getting me and the kids on the kiwi front.
Yes, I was just gonna say, even for the kids. But yeah, they've done studies, kiwi alongside, I believe it was psyllium husk, so the active ingredient in Metamucil, with more or less the same outcomes.
So ladies, if you are struggling with your poopies, eat some kiwis.
So a secret tip. Right, my sweet potatoes just.
They're looking gorgeous.
Yum! Okay. This looks so good.
He's gonna be really happy that he's gonna get to have this as part of his lunch.
I know. When we set the time for this, I was like, oh, perfect. This is going to be my lunch.
Now, will you eat both fillets or will you eat one fillet?
Nope, I will do one. And then, honestly, the other will be my lunch for tomorrow. Or I'll give it to Waverly for dinner. Okay, so that salad that needs to be dressed.
Okay.
We are going to dump the remaining dressing on there. And then give it a good toss. And I just love the pop of color from the pomegranates. And talk about an anti-inflammatory food. Pomegranates are packed with polyphenols. Okay, so.
And they're so tasty.
Oh, I know, the way they pop in your mouth.
Best.
All right, so I'm gonna plate a big scoop of salad in my bowl. And then my salmon fillet will go right next to it.
So you took the skin off.
I did. And I just used tongs and I pulled it apart. Or you can flip it over and take a fork or with your finger and it should just peel right off.
My kids are always like, I don't want the skin.
I don't blame them.
I usually will like pan fry it
If it's
and get it really crispy.
then I'll eat it.
And then I can stand it.
Yep. Okay, so then I'm actually I have some pomegranates left over. I'm gonna sprinkle some more on top. You can sprinkle some more pumpkin seeds, which I'm gonna do also. So here we go.
Oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. Look
Our
at these.
beautiful bowls.
This is real functional eating. Food as medicine.
I'm gonna try it. Let's dig in.
Me too.
Yum. Oh, the dressing is so good. What do we think?
The Dijon,
Right?
really, it's kind of like an element of surprise. Like everything else is like, I taste it together, and then the Dijon is just like, oh wow.
Yeah. That marinade can be used on chicken. I've done it.
I have some more left. I'm gonna save it.
Yes. Oh, save it. It can be put on anything. Your salad later in the week.
This was super simple.
Okay, good. I'm glad you thought so. That's always the goal. Cooking doesn't have to be or shouldn't be overwhelming. It should be simple ingredients and nourishing and filling and feel cozy and warm. And I love, because it's the winter time now, you know, the cinnamon on the sweet potato is warming, that Dijon is warming, with the sweetness and the honey. Like, it hits all the spots in my book.
Totally.
And also, so if we were meal prepping this, I wouldn't dress the salad until ready to eat.
Okay.
Just because it'll last longer. If you're using kale or something sturdier like a radicchio or an endive, which are
Yum.
winter
I love endive.
greens that I love, typically those last longer dressed.
Well, love this so much. This was such a good recipe. You gave us so many great insights into taking care of ourselves. I'm talking with my mouth full.
And also, Waverly's one, and I'm still struggling to feel myself. Like, it's hard.
Sarah,
And
my kids are 4 and 6, and I'm still struggling.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of intention and planning. What I try to do is on Sunday, I'll come up with 3 recipes that I want to make for the week, and then everything kind of revolves around that. So 3 dinners I'll make, and then those are my lunch leftovers, and then we'll repeat one of those dinners typically, or to have for dinner. Usually something ends up in the freezer, which is also great. And then again, relying on those freezer meals, or like tinned fish too. It's
I
great.
love tin fish.
I love have you heard of the acronym SMASH? So SMASH,
Like the brand Smash?
also great, but no. So
Also
the
great.
acronym SMASH stands for salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. And those are the fish that are highest in omega-3 and lowest in mercury. So a good tip is, can you rely or have a SMASH fish 2 to 3 times a week? That will meet your omega-3 needs.
Can we add that to the blog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I?
Add that.
Yeah, we'll add that as a tip for sure.
Right.
Most people are like, well, and that's also where the salmon was inspired for this recipe, but also most people are like, salmon. I'll do the salmon 3 times a week.
I mean, I could really lean into my grandfather, may his memory be a blessing, and eat herring.
And couldn't we all?
He loved cream herring
Ooh! I don't know if I've ever had that one.
with a little bit of vodka.
Maybe then we could tolerate. But I love the brands. Wild Planet has great.
I get my tuna from them, but high in mercury.
But they have lower mercury tuna.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and tuna is okay to add to your daily plate, or sorry, your weekly plate, I say. And fish is also really high in a mineral called selenium.
Yes.
Selenium naturally decreases or detoxifies mercury from our body.
Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts, yeah, there you go. But there's selenium in fish too. So with your tuna, the selenium in the tuna is going to help your body process and remove the mercury that may or may not be in there.
That is Earth and all of its miracles.
I know. Like it was made that way for a reason. Yes, of course, if you have other issues going on and you have detoxification issues, like, okay, maybe we need support, but like, I don't want people, they're always like, oh, do I need to be worried about mercury? The answer is maybe. Maybe for you. And fish has selenium in it to help remove the mercury. So you don't need to worry too much.
I mean, you run into so many of the same things when you're making organic products because like all of our ingredients are organic and you have to be really conscientious of heavy metals. Like, but on the one hand, our body is prepared to detoxify and has what it needs to detoxify. But on the other hand, you want to mitigate that as much as possible. And it comes down to soil quality and et cetera, but
God, that could be a whole nother conversation.
we'll talk about that next time.
Oh,
Guys, I want to tell everybody that Sarah, we're going to include her handle. Seriously delicious. She shares recipes. She shares a lot of these insights on her Instagram. You can see her in a private practice capacity, right?
shoot me a DM to learn more about how we can work together. And like I said, I love to support soon-to-be moms, new moms, and my specialty is really gut health. So a lot of us have gut issues. While they're common, they're not normal. And there's a lot of things that we can do to improve that and make you feel well. Like I always tell clients, I want you to sparkle again. I want you to feel like yourself again. And the goal is that you don't need me anymore. So let's get you in the office and get you out as soon as we can.
And then also everyone can check out Sarah's book. We'll include a link to it.
Thank you. Yeah. So just to go into a little more detail, the guidebook includes everything from how to prepare, like how to build that community and, you know, setting things up like the meal train like we discussed, but it goes into like what to expect, what nutrients do I need to focus on in that 40-day period, and then what foods to include. So it gives background on those macro and micronutrients and then how to include them on your plate. Like what's the skinny on caffeine, on alcohol, labs to ask your provider. What's the deal with thyroid postpartum depression, how to look out for those things. Recipes like I mentioned. It's really, really detailed. We've had really great feedback about it. People have said like, oh, I wish this existed, or I'm so happy this is now available for my next pregnancy and etc.
Thank you for compiling that.
Thanks. Of course. Yeah. Like I said, it was a need. I saw a void and I decided to fill it
we love it.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much. We'll stay on for just a minute because I think we need to stay on to like everything like syncs up at the end. But that was great. That was so much fun. This tastes so good. Woo! I'm so happy we did it. Okay, so January 19th week is when this is slated to go live. Okay. So we'll do a reel. The reel will be like, actually, it will be good to take a little video of us just like eating right now. Because she wants me to make a reel that kind of shows the pod and also shows this, and then I'm going to have this live on our YouTube, and it'll link directly to our blog also. So people like watch this and then also put it on YouTube.
Right, I want to take a video too, or a picture, and then I'll do a little video. Hi.
It's so good.